Hey guys, it's Chelsea from Attention to Details, and we're jumping right back into part 2 of putting 30 different ceramic coatings on my vehicle that we're going to be testing out for you guys. In part 1, I shared with you guys what prep was all involved with getting my vehicle ready, as well as a little bit of information about some of the coatings that we were going to be using. Now in part 2, we're going to take a quick look at some of these coatings. Some of them you've never heard of, some of them have been around for a while, but maybe they're my first time working with them. I'm going to be able to compare and contrast a lot of these different ceramic coatings for you guys. For those of you that maybe you want to know what products are worth investing in, we're going to put all of these to the test. Make sure you guys stay tuned because we're going to give you guys periodic updates on how these coatings are as far as maintenance, slickness, durability, etc. So let's get right into the show. We do have just some wetness here, and if it feels grabby, they said let it sit longer. I don't feel any grabbiness. It's actually pleasant. What was I scared of? Like that. Forgive me for the shakiness. I am walking on a ladder while holding a phone and trying to level at the same time. But that couldn't have been easier. That was easier in my experience than the 3, 5, and 8 year coatings. And I know people said that, but I don't know why I doubt them. But that was, and I can instantly feel a ton of slickness. We're just gonna feel, holy crap. This section we haven't even panel prepped, we just polished. You can feel right here that break. This is super slick, instantly. And I just wanna point out something to you guys. We don't have the D-Quartz coating yet. We're waiting on that to be shipped to us. This is the most expensive coating that we are putting on this vehicle. It's $299 a bottle. You're gonna have up to 6 years of protection. But what makes this product different? You might be saying, oh, if I want diamonds, I'm gonna go with this product. It's only $110. They don't tell you how long it's gonna last. They say many years, several years, but they don't tell you how many. But what makes these two different is that this coating, when we apply it, cannot get wet for 48 hours. In fact, they recommend you don't drive it in the elements for 48 hours. This coating, you can release after 1 hour. That is a game changer for professional detailers who are looking for exceptional products and want to stay profitable, because this leaves me down for 2 days. This means I can get the next customer in, make the next profit. Just something to point out. This can open. You have to be authorized just to open it. This is probably the one out of all of the coatings that they say will add the most amount of thickness, 4 to 5 microns. So you can see it's a little bit soupy looking. It definitely is very smooth to apply. You can almost feel a little bit of that thickness. I think we're gonna end up having to kind of let this sit for a minute or two just because of how thick it is. So I have to be honest with you guys, when I first started working with this coating, they didn't give me any instructions for application, so I had no idea how long to let it sit. Being a thicker coating, my experience has told me that you let those sit on the paint longer, and I wasn't seeing it hazing or drying up, but they actually said you only want to let it sit on there for 30 seconds to a minute. If it wipes off too easy, let it sit a little longer. If it's grabby, you let it sit too long. I actually let it sit on there for up to 5 minutes, so you can imagine it was very grabby. But surprisingly enough, even though it was grabby, once you got that transfer solution off, it was actually pretty slick, and we didn't have super aggressive high spots. So for that, I was actually very impressed with this coating, especially what it did to our paint. You can see a definitive line of how it enriched the paint from where we coated to where we didn't. Even on our trim, it did a fantastic job of enriching it. So I can only imagine how much better it would be to work with if we actually stuck within those 30 seconds to a minute. Next up, we're going to apply the Pro Quartz coating from Armor Detail Supply. One thing I really appreciate about this company is that they include very detailed instructions with all of their coatings. There's no guesswork. They're going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to prep as well as apply and what to expect. Allow the product to set up for 1 to 3 minutes depending on temperature, humidity, generally 1 to 2 minutes. And their quartz coating was very similar. Even though they did say 1 to 2 minutes, it was a little bit more humid when I worked with their quartz coating, so it was like 45 seconds. I'll be honest with you, before we were starting to get a little bit more of a grabby experience. It is now 71 in here with 42% humidity, So pretty ideal for coating application. So with this, they say you want to look for a uniform appearance. You're gonna see light sweat beads and hazing. So at this point, I'm not seeing a ton. Maybe we're just starting to see some sweat beads. Definitely can see them up here where it was thicker. So it's been about 2 minutes. So the quartz coating, yep, this is pretty grabby. But after you get through, you can see my towel just wants to stick to it. I'm not a fan of grabby coatings. I may have let it sit on there a smidge too long, but when you say 1 to 2 minutes, we're gonna test that. It doesn't have to be a firm 2 minutes. My experience with their quartz coating was 45 seconds. Still left it ever so slightly grabby, but way more enjoyable to work with. But when you have a high solids content like this, just be prepared. You're gonna have to work for your money. But you don't wanna hate your day either. Once you get all that transfer solution off, really, really nice slickness. That was what impressed me initially with the quartz coating. And just like with our Veros, I can actually see a line from where we started and where we stopped with our coating. I gotta get that off because that is a high spot waiting to happen. Looks like we got that. So FYI, it's like 1:45. I didn't eat breakfast. I'm really hungry. I'm gonna go eat something and then we'll come back. All right, so next up we're going to apply our 3-year, 5-year, 8-year, and our stack. Now, I've reviewed the 8-year as well as the 5-year coating on this channel. I've worked with the 3-year. I'm in the process of editing that video for you guys. But just to give you a quick reaction, I find the 3-year coating to be the easiest out of all of the DIY detail coatings and the slickest. But I've not worked with the stack yet, so I'm really excited to see what benefits and features the stack offers versus the 3, 5, and 8-year coatings. For those that want a closer look at the 3-year graphene, make sure you stay tuned for that dedicated video review. So we're going to start up here, and just like I experienced last time, very easy to wipe off. You can see it's all but evaporated. Immediate slickness under the towel. You can feel just a slight difference from where we started and stopped. When it comes to gloss and shine, I'm not seeing a difference to the naked eye. So next up, we're going to be applying the Duraslic ceramic coatings. First up is our mobile ceramic coating. This is a 2-year coating designed specifically for more hot and humid climates. Now, because I'm working in a climate-controlled garage, we're going to actually let this sit on the paint longer than the other 2 coatings, just to kind of see if we were to push it to its limits, is it going to be grabby or difficult to work with? So while that sits, let's apply the Xtreme 1500. This is their 7-year coating, authorized installer only. What's nice about this product is it's going to give you hydrophobic protection as well as oleophobic protection. So it's going to be able to handle a lot of the elements that your vehicle is exposed to. And then their Holy Grail coating. This is their most popular. It's a 5-year coating, and what's really nice is it has a very clear indicator when it's ready to level. It's going to haze up on you. Whereas the Xtreme and the mobile ceramic coating are both going to rainbow when they flash off. We let the mobile ceramic coating sit on there for almost 3 minutes, and it had actually all but evaporated. So it was a little grabby when I removed it. So what I would recommend, if you want a more enjoyable work experience, work section by section. You don't want to work too far ahead of yourself or let it sit on there for too long. Typically that 30-second to a minute range in a mobile setting is going to be ideal. But if you are working indoors, you can let it sit on there for a minute to 2 minutes. Now with our Xtreme HG, I could clearly see that it was ready for us to go ahead and level because we had that hazy appearance on the paint. I think out of all 3 of the coatings, it was actually my favorite to work with because of that clear indicator, and it was actually pretty easy to remove as well.
And then with our Xtreme ceramic coating, we actually let that sit on there the longest. It's going to typically be 30 to 90 seconds before it's ready to remove. Ever so slightly grabby, but I was actually very impressed with all 3 coatings, how easy they were to work with and how slick. So I'm really excited to see more from the Duraslic coatings and how they perform. Next up, we have our Superior Products Nano Ceramic Coating 5K. This is going to run you around $78.49 a bottle. Several of you expressed an interest in having a closer look at this coating, so here you go.
So up close, this is what our Superior Products coating looks like. It is pretty wet. I'm not seeing like a lot of rainbowing or hazing or sweating at this point. It just looks really wet. So I'm not sure if we need to let it sit on there for 2 to 5 minutes. So we're just going to actually let it sit on there until we start to see something happening.
Instructions online say to remove haze residue with a clean cloth. I let it sit on there for about 2 minutes. I didn't see much of a difference between the appearance. So after about 2 minutes, we went ahead and leveled.
So at this point, I'm gonna come in with my towel because I don't want to set myself up. Ever so slight. A little bit of a grab. But not difficult. I feel like I am smearing a little bit more of the transfer solution around, and it's possible that I'm wiping it off too soon. But for me, when I start to see a little bit of that repellency, that looks really nice. Actually, that's really slick. I'm not gonna say it is the slickest, but some of our professional grade products weren't even this slick. This is one that I am looking forward to seeing the hydrophobics on it and durability.
So next up is our Aquatek Select ceramic coating. This is their enthusiast line. It's $70 for a 3-year coating. Again, this is a product that is going to be easy to work with in less than ideal environments. So we're going to let this sit on there for quite some time, because if you're working outdoors, it's going to flash quickly on you faster than it would in this environment. So I want to kind of see if we push it to its limits, is it still going to be user friendly?
This is essentially how I would work. Apply, kind of let it sit, maybe do 1 or 2 panels, and then come in. It's not grabby, a little smeary it feels, but I can feel nice smoothness under the towel. We do have, you can see it's just kind of smearing stuff around at this point. So this is where that second towel should clean stuff up. I'm gonna go beyond our work area. That was very easy to apply. Again, I didn't wait a super long time, because in my mind, if you're saying that you can work faster, we're gonna do panel by panel. It feels very similar to our Superior products now that we have coated it. So we have equal slickness, maybe just a touch more with our Superior products. But again, some of these coatings, as they cure, may become more slick. So just we'll try to keep an eye on that.
Next up, we have Gtechniq CSL plus their EXO V5. We're going to coat this entire section with the CSL, and then 4 hours later, top it with the EXO V5, just to kind of compare and contrast some of the benefits of these 2 coatings. Now, I know my good friend Phil Miranda over at Miranda Detailing, he uses these products a lot. I have not worked with them before. This was my first time. I was blown away with the slickness that both of these products offered and how easy they were to apply. We're actually going to do a dedicated video review on these products because I think they warrant a closer look, but I know that Phil has done a ton of videos, so for those of you that want a closer look now, I'm going to link some of his videos down below for you guys. But very impressed by both of these products, how easy they were to apply, probably amongst the top 3 easiest to work with and amongst the top 3 slickest once they were cured.
So next we have our Vonixx V-Paint. This is their 2-year coating. It's going to be very affordable for those of you that are just looking for something that is maybe gonna last, realistically, I would say 18 to 24 months, and should be very user-friendly. Now, online and on their bottle, I'm not seeing a ton of step-by-step instructions on how long to let it sit. They basically say, work it into the paint and then level. So we're just gonna give it a few seconds, see what kind of signs we see. If we see a sweating mark or rainbowing or mixture, you can actually tell I'm gonna show you guys this in just a second. I can actually tell where our Gtechniq overlapped because it is not allowing this coating to set up. It's actually repelling it. So that's the first I've seen out of any sort of competition from one panel to the next saying, this is my area, you're not moving in here. Let me just show you guys this real quick because it's kind of comical. Actually see where I overlapped with the Gtechniq CSL, and it is repelling this new coating. It's not allowing me even just the wipe off, because I did not apply it. That's just from my towel, what residual product we have. So I can see some rainbowing, a little bit of sweating, but they didn't say that we need to let it sit. So we're just gonna come in and level. I do know that online they recommend every 30 to 45 days using their SiO2 Pro to kind of top it or refresh the hydrophobics. I don't know if the argument could then be made, are you banking on your topper or your coating for performance? Sometimes when I see those instructions online, that makes me wonder if the manufacturer has a lot of confidence in their coating, if they're recommending that you immediately top it. But that being said, when manufacturers say this is how you maintain the coating, if you want optimum results, I would recommend you listen to them. So if you're gonna use the Vonixx V-Paint, I would recommend just pick up a bottle of the SiO2 Pro so that monthly you can just use it to, even as a drying aid, to keep the hydrophobics nice and tight. Next up is one that I've been really excited to test out, the Gyeon Mohs or Show Evo. Did you just have a typo? I don't understand. Like, what made you say, let's call it Mohs? I think honestly they were like, it's called Show, but Mohs just sounds cooler. It's, I don't know. Nice bottle. I like how it comes out quickly. I know that's like such a weird little thing to comment on, but some manufacturers, I don't like it when we have to use an eyedropper, and I don't like to have to spend a lot of time getting the product out of the bottle. So I can tell that instantly this is a sweating coating. And if I recall correctly, they actually said not to go back and forth, just do up and down motions, make sure it's evenly applied. I think for that purpose, because you want to be able to see the sweating and you don't want to kind of weaken the coating. So that's why I just went back over this like a third time heavier, because you can really see our sweating marks. So again, I personally prefer coatings like this because there's no doubt in my mind this coating is ready for me to level. Now, I've heard great things about Mohs. When I used it at the Creator Summit, I was blown away with how easy it was, and it's still holding true. That couldn't be easier. For those of you that are looking for 2 to 3 years of protection out of a retail grade product, I'm excited to see performance, but application couldn't have been easier. Out of all the coatings that we've used thus far, because of the sweating, because of how easy it was, personally, that's one of my favorite. We have nice slickness. I wouldn't say it's off the charts, but you can definitely feel an improvement in slickness from the uncoated to the coated section. Even comparing it to our Vonixx V-Paint, I feel like this is more slick. For me, I'm a big old fan of Gyeon Show Mohs. We'll hopefully be able to do a dedicated review on that coating in the future. But this one, ironically enough, we're going to transition from what was my favorite coating to apply to my least favorite coating to apply. I've been a little nervous about working with it. The last time I worked with a Meguiars product, it was their ultimate ceramic coating. For me, that's a little confusing when you've got an ultimate ceramic coating that is a spray product that is going to last anywhere from 6 to 12 months, and then you come out with a professional beyond ceramic paint coating. But you can see we've got a QR code here for us to be able to see an application guide. We also have just some keys on what to do as far as for application if you want to read it. But we have an applicator pad right here. Honestly, this just looks like they took a bunch of their leftover foam pads, squished them together, and this is what you get, because this basically looks like their microfiber polishing pad, their yellow polishing pad, and their black finishing pad. So I don't know, it's different. It's going to be difficult to get under door handles and things like that with an applicator like this. We'll use it for this because obviously we'll have no issue with a flat panel, but on contoured body parts or door handles, things like that, this might be cumbersome. I'd say just like chop it off right there. I do personally like the Saver applicators from Autofiber better. Even the suede ones, they're very smooth on the paint, just because you don't go through as much product. I feel like we're gonna absorb a ton of product on this, but we're just doing this section, so you know, I'm not gonna overthink it. So this is, I don't know if you guys can see that. That is like soupy.
This was by far the thickest coating out of all of the coatings that I worked with, even thicker than our Veros Pro that adds 4 to 5 microns to the paint.
Kind of looks like aloe vera. It looks like glue coming out. We're going really heavy because I just don't know how long this is going to go, being my first time. I feel like that's quite a bit, especially for this small panel. So, like I thought, we're gonna struggle with contour body parts with this applicator. And I feel like I don't have a lot on there. We actually have to reapply. So you're gonna spend a lot more time just getting it out of the bottle because it's so soupy. Not a big fan of that. I want something that's just gonna allow me to get the job done. We're gonna maybe work this into the pad a little bit. I still feel like I don't have a lot on there. As much, like, what is going on? It's fine. It has a weird smell too. It has like a minty smell to it. Not your typical coating smell. It actually smells like herbal tea, like mint herbal tea. I am very confused by this product. And I feel like I have soaked the pad, but even when I apply it, I don't know if it's because of the applicator or just how thick the product is. We're just gonna very evenly work it in. But I'm actually not seeing where our Mohs is kind of pushing off our product like we had with our Gtechniq. So they say to let this sit on there for 2 to 5 minutes and then come in and level. So we're gonna go 2 minutes just because we are a little bit more humid in here and also because I'm impatient. I don't really wanna have to wait 5 minutes. So we're at about a minute mark and you can see it is a wetter appearance. I'm not seeing a huge amount of rainbowing, but for something that they claim maybe 2 years of durability, they don't really come out and say how many years. It's just if you maintain it properly, you can get several years out of it. I feel like some manufacturers, because of the lack of maintenance that customers are doing on coatings, are becoming more afraid to put a year durability claim onto a product, because if customers come back and say, my coating failed at 3 years and you said 5 years, I want my money back. Well, how are you maintaining it? There's so many different variables involved in that coating's performance. So maybe Meguiars, being a larger company, has just said, you know, we're tired of all of the negative feedback from people saying it didn't perform because they didn't properly maintain it, even though Meguiars definitely has the right products to maintain coatings with. Maybe because of the retail level and the inexperience that some customers can have, being that your market is going to be a majority of beginners or just enthusiasts. Maybe they just took that difficulty out of the equation and just said several years versus what many of us detailers are looking for, which is a definitive 2, 3, 4, 5 year durability claim. So we're at the 2 minute mark. I'm gonna come in, and that is not difficult at all, at all. Now I can see right here, you can see kind of some streaks, and they don't want to come out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to reapply product.
By reapplying fresh product, we should be able to remove the high spot. You can actually see it right here, but I actually had to polish this off. We tried to massage fresh product even twice into those high spots, and normally that should work, especially on a fresh coating, but it did not. I normally only have to do this if a coating has been on a vehicle for, let's say, overnight. I come back the next day, see a high spot, it can't be reactivated, and I have to actually polish it off by hand. This was the first time I've ever worked with any coating, especially on a retail level, that within minutes we had to polish off a high spot. But we polished, put some panel prep wipe, and then reapplied product, let it sit for a shorter interim of time, and then removed. We were able to eliminate that issue. So it could be that we let it sit on there for too long, or the multiple layers that I had to reapply because the pad soaked it up. But it definitely was not a product that I enjoyed working with.
For those that you enjoy Ethos and you enjoy their easy to use products, this is definitely one to consider. Now, I'm making a foolish mistake. We need to shake it up because you can actually see we have a little bit of a hint of gray. You're gonna see a little bit more of that gray when you mix it up. Right there, that's what we wanna see. This product, you can let it sit 2 to 5 minutes. Has a really nice long work time. I was easily able to coat up to 3 panels before I had to come back and level. And even when you let it sit for like 5 minutes, ridiculously easy to remove. In fact, we're just going to let this sit.
Third timer, 5 minutes.
I got a lot of timers going. So while that's sitting, we're actually going to apply the easy peasy coating. Now, as easy as this is, I mean, they put it in the name, easy peasy. What I've seen with this coating over at Jamie the Cleaner's channel, he's absolutely been doing a killer job at creating content lately. And if you guys haven't subscribed to Jamie's channel, I encourage you guys, head on over there and give him some love because Jamie is creating some killer content. One of my favorite channels right now to watch. But when it comes to their easy peasy coating, I've seen great things out of it as far as durability. But one thing that I think really sets this product apart from every other coating on the market is that you can apply this to an entire vehicle, and then when you basically get back to where you started, then you can remove. Allows you to just work very quickly and efficiently. While it may not be the most durable coating on the market, for those of you that are looking for kind of that 2 to 3 year range, this is definitely one that I've had my eye out for, that I have great hopes and expectations for it. But you can see right here where I started and stopped. This is our graphene line over here. So it looks a little bit of a thicker product, but with our easy peasy, we have really nice rainbowing. About 4 minutes with our easy peasy coating. I'm gonna say that this is ready for wipe off, and that could not be easy peasier. We still have our graphene coating on there. That one you can let sit for 2 to 5 minutes. They said online, let this one sit about 5 minutes, but I was starting to see this one look like it was good and flashed off. What I am happy to see is that our trim from here to here, this is new unprotected trim. This is now coated trim. We have really nice gloss and shine. We're gonna come in, we let the graphene coating sit on there even longer than our easy peasy, and it is just as easy to remove. You can definitely feel a little bit more thickness with this coating, but this is what I have loved so much about the Ethos coatings. Once you are done removing them, you just feel a really nice slickness under the paint. So we are on the home stretch. These are the last 2 coatings that we're going to be showing you guys that I have not worked with. The rest of the coatings I have worked with extensively, so we'll just kind of give you guys some quick bullet points. But this is probably the one coating that you guys were the most interested in seeing. Why? Because it's a $25 3-year ceramic coating. This is from No Hype Ceramics, Brad Orman from Black Rhino. This man, I don't think he likes to make money. He just likes to make products that perform and basically says, I don't need to get rich off of this. If I can pay my bills, That's all I really need to do. Any type of excess that this man has, he's giving it away. He's practically giving his company away to one of you lucky winners. He's actually giving all of the proceeds from the No Hype ceramics to a friend who is a single mom who's trying to purchase a home. So for those of you that like made in the USA, affordable products from companies that really are just stand-up companies, I think that's why so many of you guys have been intrigued by this. Now, I did try out their 1-year ceramic coating. I coated an entire vehicle with it. I was very impressed with the 1-year coating. And for those of you that maybe you don't want a multi-year product, $15 for 1 year of protection. You're gonna actually spend more on a spray wax at the retail store. So for those of you that want a dedicated coating that's going to perform, they have their 3-year option, but we're gonna go ahead and apply this to our paint. This second coating is from Black Rhino. Again, Brad Orman, this is his first company, but this is actually a new coating for them. This is actually a 1-year polysilazane coating. I'm actually, out of all the products, I don't know, I'm kind of intrigued to see this one once we wash it, because the idea of having fat beads, to me, why does that matter? Well, fat beads means less risk of water spotting issues. So our fat beads has all but evaporated, and I'm actually gonna come in and we're gonna get that off of there, because I think I let that sit on there a little bit too long, because it should not, in my opinion, be grabby like that. That was not painful. Now we have our No Hype 3-year ceramic coating. We've let that sit on there obviously longer than our fat beads, and you can see it is starting to haze up. And with a lot of the Black Rhino ceramics, once you see that hazing, you know it's pretty much ready to go ahead and level. You don't want to let it dry on there, but you do want to kind of see some of that hazing up here. We let that sit on there for about 2-3 minutes. Kind of come in with our second towel and just level. Very nice slickness. Impressive for me for a $25 coating.
Next, from Black Rhino, we have their 5-year Optix coating. We actually reviewed this product a little over a year ago. It turned out fantastic on my customer's truck, and he's still enjoying it to this day. You're going to work this in a crosshatch pattern, and then when you see a haze appear on the paint, you know it is ready to level, and when you do level, it is very easy to wipe off. Next, we have their Graphics coating. This is a 5-year graphene-based coating. Now, how this is different from their Optix, this is going to help reduce water spotting issues because it has that graphene oxide within it, but it's going to be just as easy to work into the paint and remove. It's been 2 hours since we applied our 8-year coating from DIY Detail, so now we're going to apply the 3-year coating on top to give us our stacked combination, and holy cow.
Is that slick? Holy crap. If you were to put that on a slip and slide, I guarantee you there would be no coming back. You just keep going and going. So I'm not gonna lie, it's like 4:25. We are on the final countdown. You guys, I kind of saved these last 3 for last, because it's kind of like when you save your favorite bites for last, you know it's gonna be good. But honestly, I got the really difficult ones over with first and kind of worked my way to the easier ones, just to kind of be like, it's okay, you got through the worst, let's keep going. So now, if you've followed this channel for a while, you know that I've actually reviewed these 3 coatings before.
First, we have Kronos from Phoenix EOD, and I have to be honest with you guys, I worked with this product in the past, and I don't remember it being this easy.
So you can see we've got rainbowing going on, and it looks like it is starting to evaporate. So we're gonna actually come in, and it's actually very velvety. I've learned with this coating, you don't want to let it sit on there for too long, or you end up having a little bit of a workout. But I feel like right at that point was a sweet spot. That was very easy to work with, smooth. You could feel a little bit more substance to it. And again, it's an industrial grade, almost marine grade coating. So it's gonna have a little bit more of a feel to it, if that makes sense. But it wasn't grabby, it wasn't difficult. So For me, a little bit of redemption because I've worked with this in the past and maybe I worked too big of a section. So that right there definitely was an improvement from the last time I worked with this coating. But I'll be honest with you, after working with some of these other professional grade products, this was a breeze to work with. Some of those pro grade products, you definitely have to be mentally and physically prepared for what you're going into.
Two very similar coatings are the BC1 3-year coating from Apex Surface Protection, and we also have the 5-year ceramic coating from Stoner Car Care. Both of these are almost identical in application and removal. You can see both are going to rainbow when they are ready to level. We let the BC1 sit on there a little bit longer and it was still very easy to work with. This is actually the 2 to 3 year coating that I mostly use here at my shop because it is so easy to work with, but I'll have to be honest with you guys. The Stoner 5-year coating has definitely been giving the BC1 a run for its money. It is super easy to work with, fantastic for beginners and pros alike.
Last but not least, EXO V5.
And I feel like after a long day of working with coatings, this was the cherry on top.
Holy snot on a rag. Is that slick? Holy snipers. That is ridiculously slick. I hope the coating actually feels like that when we are done removing it. Holy mother of pearl. That was a lot that I put on there, but that was ridiculously slick. And I can see, let me bring you in closer. So you can see it is a thicker product. We're starting to have a little bit of a sweating appearance. Guys, a little bit of a different view, but you can see it is starting to sweat. Looks like, in my opinion, I would say that the CSL is kind of not wanting to allow it to set up, but we did wait 4 hours. So when I see that pretty much flashed off, in my mind, I'm gonna say that that has soaked in and that we can go ahead and level. I wanna give it as much time as possible. It's just super interesting to look at. Smooth, not grabby at all. I did go heavier. So that first towel, it feels like we're, smearing around product, but you see, we'll just get a second towel in there just for a very quick light touch. I can feel a definite bump in the slickness. It does feel as slick after removing as it did going on. The CSL has nice slickness to it, so I'm really excited to see what kind of difference we get performance-wise when we top it with our EXO V5. This is by far the most extensive test that I've ever done on this channel, but hopefully you guys enjoy these short, quick looks at some of the most popular ceramic coatings on the market. So we're still waiting on those 3 last remaining ceramic coatings, and once we have them in shop, we'll go ahead and maybe do a short sharing with you guys what those products look like being applied. But we started at 9:30 in the morning, took a quick lunch break, but it is basically 5:30 at night. We spent the entire day sharing with you guys how to prep for these specific coatings and then how to apply. Majority of them were single layer. We had 2 that we stacked, or the CSL EXO V5 as well as the DIY stack. But for those of you that have wanted to see a closer look at some of the more popular ceramic coatings on the market, make sure you guys stay tuned, because we're going to share with you guys an update on how all of these coatings perform when we wash it. With most ceramic coatings, we're going to want to let it sit out of the elements we're just going to give it 24 hours to be safe. We have some that are 24 hours, some that are 12 hours, some that are 4 to 6 hours, some that are 1 hour. So we'll try to have all of the information for these coatings down below for where you guys can purchase them. And if we have affiliate links, we'll try to share them with you guys, because I'm not going to lie to you guys, this is probably the most expensive detail I've ever done. We're probably, if not over $1,000 of coatings that I've purchased to put on my own vehicle. So hopefully we're gonna be able to get some revenue back with ads from Google, because that's the only way I can justify this to my husband. So hopefully this video goes viral and we can get a ton of ad revenue from it to kind of pay me back. But for those of you that enjoy content like this, the simple thing that you can do, even if you don't want to buy it, just hit that subscribe button down below and maybe a thumbs up and maybe the follow bell, so that way you can stay tuned for when we do updates on this vehicle. But we're done. It was a really, really long day. I'm pretty sure I'm high at this point because there's a lot of fumes in this garage, so I don't recommend necessarily being in a garage for 8 hours with a ton of chemicals. So I'm gonna go inside, get some fresh air, but thank you guys for tuning in and watching, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the very next detail. Have a great day.